And what I want to do now is I want to use this for something, and the thing I want to use it for is a little possibles bag. And this is kind of a cool thing. A lot of people don't know how to do it. But I'm going to start with this piece of leather, and I want to get the biggest possible bag out of it. And there's a certain design I want to use. To do that, I'm going to use these compasses here. This is called a compass, and this one's been in the family for about 100 years and looks it. But you could pick these things up just about anywhere. And what I want to do is I want to find out how large a circle I can draw in here. And there's just a quick little idea for doing that. What you do is you kind of estimate the size of the circle you might be able to get out of it, and figure about half of that on your compass. So I'm just going to adjust this a little smaller, and I'm going to set the one point at the edge of the leather, and then I'm going to try to draw an arc across the leather like so. Now I've got a little arc going right along here. Now I'll go to the other side of the leather, and I'll draw another arc like so. And this makes like a little moon in here. I'll go to the other side, draw another partial arc, and over here, well, I can see that right about in here is going to be the middle to get the largest possible circle out of it, like that. And that's because I've got one arc going this way, one arc going that way, and I'm in the middle. So now what I'll do is I'll start drawing a circle, and all things being equal and the stuff don't move too much, whoops, that's right on the edge, I will be able to get a pretty good size possibles bag out of this. Remember, since it's leather, you can fix anything in, as we call it, post-production. There we go. Now, you might be able to see that I got a pretty good sized circle cut right out of the middle, and I managed to get that because I drew these little half moons in the thing. Now that I've drawn my circle, I'm going to go ahead and cut out my my piece of leather here, roughly on that circle. I don't want any of this stuff to look too good. It might look professional then, and then people won't think that I made it. That sounds silly, but it's the truth. Only machines do perfect stuff. In South America, they have a saying that if it's perfect, your life is over. So I always make mistakes in anything you make. I make sure that I got a good long life by making lots of mistakes. There we go. And now we've got the basic circle for my possibles bag. Now the next step, I want this to be on the outside of the bag. So the next step is I'm going to fold this thing over about like so. And you can see it doesn't line up perfectly, but that's fine. This side's good. That side's got a little schlaga in it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to punch some holes here and here and down here. And I'll show you what that'll do. I'll just take my trimmer. There we go. One halfway. One halfway on the other side. This is about halfway. And they're all about 1/4 of an inch in. And one here. And one here. There we go. Now that gives us a good start. Get these little googies out of here. There we go. That gives us a good start. What I'm going to do, excuse me. Whoa. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to punch holes halfway between each of these holes. And this is what we're going to thread our drawstring through. So I'll just go ahead and do that now. And again, this is just approximate. Now you can see I've got a series of holes clear around the outside of the little purse or pocket or pouch that I'm going to make. So the next thing we want to do is lace it together. For this project I'm using some leather laces. These are just Latigo laces. And what I did is I started my lace like so and evened them up so that I've got even length lace on either side of these two holes. Now what I'm going to do is just lace in and out through the leather that's going to be the purse. I'll go in and out like so. And we're going to do this with both sides and with two of these laces. And I'll show you what's going to happen here. If you did the hole punching the way I showed you, you'll be starting on the outside with your lace and you'll be ending up on the outside. And this is going to be a pattern that will be repeated again with another lace of the same size from the other side. So what I usually do to make this lacing go a little faster is I trim the points. You'll probably figure this out yourself. It took me 15 years to figure out that I should make these things sharper so I could get them in. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start on the opposite side where the two ends came through, go in the same holes like so. Get out of there. Like that. Make sure that they even up again. There we go. And follow the laces back. Now remember, I came in where the other holes, the other pieces of leather came out. So I'll just follow the lace right back through, like so. There we go. Now, these are the two sides of the pouch. These are the two sets of pull strings. I'm going to go ahead and tie a little knot in these loose ends. This is just to keep it from going back through the holes. Get the knot. There we go. That's one. And another. And there it is. A little purse. Now it's just a matter of neatening it up and fluffing it all out, and we got our little coin purse or possibles bag or whatever you want to use it for, with two good strong ties that you can use to tie it around your neck. Now there's another thing you can do. You've got your little leather buttons here. You can put a button right on the side of the purse here, and that way you could hang it directly from a cloak or whatever else you happen to be wearing. Just stick this through a buttonhole and it'll hang from that. It gives you another little security feature. Sometimes in the Middle Ages they would put those on there with their coin purses to make it harder for a purse cutter to steal your purse. I'm just going to make a couple little holes like this in here. And then I'll pass this through here and through the other hole like that and tie a knot. That little knot there will keep this thing from pulling out easily. But there's another way to do it that's kind of cool. Let me show you what I mean. You saw how I punched two holes here to hold that button in. Well, if I punch a third hole like this, I can take this loose end, pass it through to the inside, and on the inside you can see the strap from the button going through the two holes I initially punched right there. So what I'll do is I'll put this under that strap like so, and then when I pull on the the strap here that goes to the button will tighten down on this one and hold it in place. Let's see if I can get that just right. There we go. So it looks like that. It makes a little cross underneath inside the purse. But that makes a pretty secure tie for a button on the side of your purse. Bingo. And there it is. Now there's one more interesting thing about this design, and the reason I like this kind of a bag. If you make a large enough one, now see this one here is just large enough for my fist. I want to put that in there. I don't know why I would. But if you make it a little larger like so, it's a hat. You can put it on your head. Now, sort of a pocket hat if you want. It looks a little goofy. This is not a good hat, but if you make a big pocket, you can actually carry stuff in your hat, and then at the end of the day, if you get cold, you take the stuff out of the pocket, use it, and put it on your head and keep yourself a little bit warmer. Something they used to do in the Middle Ages, and something you might want to do someday up in the mountains.